Welcome back to another awesome YouTube video, and this video is all about what verb conjugations do you actually need to learn in Spanish. Now, the verbs are probably the hardest part of learning the Spanish language, and we're going to look at a conjugation chart here in a second. I'm basically going to break down what each verb conjugation actually means and what they do. Like, what does the imperfecto mean? What does the futuro perfecto mean? All of this stuff. I'm just going to tell you literally what it means. I'm going to try to break it down as best as I can. This is not about the conjugations. It's just about here's a verb conjugation chart, here's what you need and don't need to know, and then I'll give you a little bit more insight as to what, for example, my program might do for you, if that's something that you're interested in. But let's get into it. So I'm gonna put my glasses on for this because this is a lot of small little words. I'm gonna try not to stop and edit the video so much. I'm gonna try to do this in just one take if possible. So this is a verb conjugation chart of the verb llevar. Now, llevar means, ignore all this stuff. Llevar means like to take something. It can also be used to talk about wearing something, like a shirt or something like that. But we've got something called the infinitivo. This just means like the verb in its complete, like unconjugated form. Llevando, the gerundio. I mean, like a lot of these words you don't really, and this is the purpose of this video, because a lot of these words, like you look at a conjugation chart, you're like, there's so much just stuff here, and it's overwhelming when it doesn't have to be. Okay, so llevando is the ing version of a verb, like when you're doing something. So in this case, if the verb is take, llevando is just taking with that ing ending. This is the past tense version, past participle version, which means like taken, or to have taken. So that's what that means, but what we're really going to focus on is all of this stuff right here. So we've got the present tense form, which is just, I take, you take, he, she takes, we take. This is vosotros, which is used in Spain to say you all take, and then they or you all take. This is for like Argentina. I've never actually seen this in the verb conjugation chart, so this must have been added pretty recently on this website. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about this unless you're like specifically in Argentina or something like that. Now, that's just the present tense, so it's pretty simple. Don't worry so much about what this indicativo means. I don't know why it's just the way that they separate the stuff. Imperfect and preterite. So both of these, okay, is how we conjugate in the past tense. All right, and I'll try to write this on there. This is past right here. This is past tense, so imperfect is for ongoing actions, preterite is for actions that have been completed. This is like the difference between saying I was taking versus I took. You took, you were taking, in a very like simplified version. I've got other videos on the difference between preterite and imperfect, when and how not to use those, so you can check that out. But that's the conjugation for that. So when you're looking at a verb conjugation chart, or if you're looking through a book that like has the verb conjugations or a verb, and then it shows you all of these lists here, this is the past tense. Future, pretty simple. I will take, you will take, he, she will take. That's what's right here. Conditional tense, I can just simply put the word would here. This is would take. Llevaría, llevarías, llevaríamos, and so that's would take. Now I'm going to erase this stuff here, and we're going to scroll down to formas compuestas comunes. That's like a weird way to say what this actually means. And this is using the verb haber. This means to have done something, specifically to have. It's not the have of possessing something, it's the have of having done something in the past tense. And over here, don't worry about the pretérito, perfecto, don't worry about these complicated words, this means have. You come over here to había, and this means had. All right, and then you come over here, I'm going to try to fit this in there. This is will have, and then over here the conditional of the haber is would have. So that's what this really is. You've got a, and then you notice here llevado, so you come up here and you're like, oh, that's the past participle form. I'm going to show you a different verb chart in a second so that you can see the similarities, because you come down and you're like, oh, has, hemos, han llevado. This is I have taken, you have taken, we have taken, they have taken, etc. And then this is the same thing. Notice llevado, 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 llevado. The only thing that changes is the conjugation of haber. And if you go to another verb conjugation chart for any other verb, this stuff, the habría, habrá, había, has, the haber part of the verb will not have changed. It'll stay exactly the same. This is to say I had taken, you had taken, we had taken. And you can pretty much just conjugate that and translate that directly from English. And then this is the same thing. It's I will have taken, you will have taken. And this is I would have taken, you would have taken. All right, so that's pretty simple. And look, this is not expecting you to just automatically be able to conjugate in all of these tenses, right? That's for something like my Spanish program, A to Z Spanish University. What A to Z Spanish University does is it teaches you how to conjugate in every single one of these tenses, when and when not to use them, and it gets you to know how to do this and communicate in Spanish in every tense possible within a matter of weeks. So after just a couple of months, you can be speaking in all of these different tenses with all of these different verbs and actually be speaking to native speakers and having real conversations. So the best way to find out about that program, by the way, this is my plug-in time, check out my free training. So my free training is going to show you the methodology, how to accelerate your Spanish learning, what to and not to focus on, and the 3 strategies that I used and implemented in my Spanish learning that allowed me to become fluent within a year. Click on the link in the description to sign up for that free training, because signing up for that free training, you'll get all of that free information on my methodology in detail. Plus, at the end, you'll hear more about my Spanish program if that's something that you're interested in signing up for, and you get a special discount on it as well. Back to the video, that's my plugin, and that's just so you know my resources are out there if you're interested in it. So when we come over here to the subjunctive tense, again, subjunctive is for a different topic. I'm not going to go into detail about what it is, but essentially it's things that aren't real. So you've got a way to conjugate like I take in the present, and I took, or was taking, and that's what the present and the past subjunctive does. So there's 2 ways to conjugate in the subjunctive. You've got the present subjunctive and you've got the past subjunctive. I don't even know why this is here. The future subjunctive does not exist. No one uses it. It's not even a thing. So you can literally just cross this out. Never use it. So just depending on when the subjunctive is triggered, you're going to say I take using this conjugation. So you'll notice instead of llevo, it's lleve. Llevas, it's lleves with an E. Llevemos, instead of llevamos, it's llevemos. And so, and then the imperfect is for I took, well, whenever, this is either or. It can either be llevara or llevase, llevaras, or this is probably more common with this verb. But just to know, you don't use the future subjunctive, so don't even try to learn it. And then you've got the present and the past conjugation. And by the way, the subjunctive follows patterns, so don't get overwhelmed when you see this. But and then you come down here, and this might seem a bit overwhelming, this part, but it's really just conjugating haber in the subjunctive tense. So instead of he llevado, it becomes haya llevado. And again, it's just when the subjunctive is triggered. And there are different phrases that'll trigger the subjunctive that you can pretty much memorize, and so it makes the subjunctive less overwhelming when you get to it, but that's why the subjunctive is here. Again, don't worry about learning tiempos compuestos del subjuntivo, that's just a ridiculous name. And the same thing applies here for the subjunctive. You do not use the future, whatever this thing is. And then this down here, don't even worry about this either. Doesn't exist. So essentially with any verb, and again, let's look at a different one. So we're going to look at hablar. By the way, this is wordreference.com. Wordreference is a great dictionary between English and Spanish and other languages, and it's got these conjugation charts on there. But you've got talk or speak. So you've got the same thing, to talk, talking, and talked, or speak, speaking, spoken. I talk, you talk, we talk. I was talking, you were talking. I talked, you talked. I will talk, I would have talked. We're just going to go through these with the yo version, the I version. I have talked, I had, H-A-D, had talked, I will have talked, I would have talked, and then this is just the subjunctive, I talked, this doesn't exist. I have talked, I had or have talked, and then this doesn't exist either. And there you go. That's the Spanish language, essentially. Obviously, there's more to it where you have to learn how to conjugate this stuff and learn how to use it properly. But that's Spanish. I mean, this is verbs in Spanish, and that's what you got to learn to be able to communicate. And I obviously, in my program, I break it down in a very simple and straightforward way to show you how to conjugate and how to and not to use these different tenses. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it kind of gives you more of a breakdown on what verbs are in Spanish. Please subscribe to the channel. Check out that free training in the description on how to become fluent in Spanish within a year. It's going to get you speaking with native speakers and having long, real conversations with them within just a matter of months. I was able to do it. I know it works, and I've coached hundreds of other students to do the same. So check it out. Subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Ciao.